Now another little distinguishing mark that the president has is that he's got this little, almost like this little thing on the end of his chin that sticks out, and I'm just going to barely, just to bring that out a little bit, just going to take a little bit of wood off right there. I was going to say skin, but I mean, yeah, it represents skin, but that it's not skin. So I'm just gonna round that off a little bit. Okay. So here's our face, and it will start taking on character when we start to paint it and when we put in the hair. So I'm just going to go around now and just clean our lines up just a little bit. This ear over here is still a little bit bigger than the one on the other side. I'm going to take a little bit of that off too. So this is the profile. It looked like Trump from the side. Now, normally I would wait and do his hair with the V-tool at the end, but I want to see more what it's going to look like. So I'm going to take my V-tool and going to decide which direction that his hair goes. So on the sides, his hair is going to go back, and then it's going to go back a little bit up above, and then it's going to start, and then in the front we're going to get it where it curls just a little bit. So first I'm going to start out, and I'm going to take my V-tool and start going back. Again, you want to make sure your V-tool is sharp, and then you want to curve down just a little bit, because in the back right here, that's going to go straight down. All right, so now we're gonna start our curl. Maybe it'd probably be a little bit better if we take our pencil and kind of give us an idea of how we're gonna direct that. Okay, so we're gonna start here in the front, and we're going to curve that around and over the top. Start again below, curve it around. I'm going to do that a few more times. I'm going slow, trying to keep some good control. And that's one of the reasons that I put my finger right up against the wood, is it gives me control. And if I was just doing it like this, without this finger being here, I would not have the control that I do with my finger there. It might look like that I'm putting a lot of pressure, but I'm not. But just keeping the control. Now I'm going to turn this towards going to the back. That's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to take those cuts and I'm going to start moving in the direction where I can go straight down. Okay. Now, on the front here, you've got to also go underneath. And so we're going to follow that direction. We're going to go down. Same over here. So there's our, and we just kind of blend that in. Okay, now on the top here, on the back, I'm going to follow that, keep following that direction. And now I'm going to go straight up. On the sides here, going to follow that sweep and then direct it down. You don't want to cross the cuts, because it won't look natural. So you just sweep the direction that you're going to be going. Now I can turn it around. Try to go in between the cuts up above it, give it a little more texture, just so it's doesn't look like just one cut all the way down the back of his hair. And now I'm going to just kind of again try to go in between, give some texture to the back of his hair, just so it doesn't just snub right off. Okay, now I'm going to look, make sure that there's not too big of spaces in between the hair. I've got space right there. I want to get back here. Okay, so there's our sweep. Got a little bit of a space right there. Do that. Okay, up above, look, yeah, that looks good. It's time we do the suit. So first I'm going to make sure this shoulder right here just a little bit lower than the other one. So I'm going to even those up. Okay, there we go. Now I can start with the arms. So I'm going to make a line. Now that might be that'll be good. I was going to say you have to take in consideration the hand, so that means that the sleeve is going to end about right there. That's good. So now I'm going to bring my line over to the front. Even them up. There we go. Now it gives me an idea where I'm going to put my other line. Of course, that would be, the hand would be up here. Sleeve would be up here. So that's just a little bit. Needs to come up just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So now they're even. I'm going to take my knife, rock it back and forth, put a little bit of pressure, And I'm going to come up underneath. Rock it back and forth. And again, we're doing the almost cut. Going almost to the stop cut, and then just rocking back and forth, and that piece of wood will just naturally come right out. So there's that one. The other side, rock it back and forth. Come underneath. Don't push too much, because you see that gap right there close. That means there's pressure now up above it. So there we go. Make sure they're even. This one's just a little bit low. I'm going to come up just a little bit. Look at it. There we go. Now we're pretty much even. I think this is still just a little bit of a slant towards the forward. Okay. All right. Now, in order to make the front of the suit coat and the tie and the white shirt, we're going to have to flatten this up just a little bit. So I'm going to go down just about where his belt would be and start flattening that out just a little bit. Not completely. I don't want it completely flat. I still want a little bit of curve there. Now what I'm thinking about is what kind of a surface I have to make his shirt and his tie. Round that out just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to make the V. It comes down. Gives me an idea so that I can kind of get the center. Okay. Now what I want to do is to make his collar. I'll come up here and make his collar. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this line. Now I want to make his tie. It's going to come down. So there's his tie. And now I know that I want to make his coat. I'm going to go down. I'm going to make a curve and go right underneath. Right underneath his hands. Make sure I get those evened up. Right now I'm going to make sure that his lapel comes down. This is a little bit too thick. Okay, there we go. Come over a little bit more. Okay. There we've got our collar and we've got our tie. Now I'm going to draw in his belt, and that's going to be just below his tie. so there's his belt and his tie. Okay, so I'm going to do a push cut on his collar, and I'm just going to push a little bit, push a little bit. Now I want the tie to be out farther than the collar, so I'm going to go underneath the collar on both sides. Now you can see this collar comes down just a little bit more, so I'm going to bring this just a little bit down so that that's even. Alright, now I'm going to take my knife, run it along that line, just kind of rock it a little bit. Okay. Now his collar is going to be just a little bit, almost even with his suit coat. So we're going to bring this down, kind of just all right. So there's his collar. All right. Now I'm going to take my knife, the tip of my knife, run it down where the edge of the suit coat would be. Do the same thing over here where the edge of the suit coat would be. Then I'm going to take my lapel, and I'm going to take it back and connect it into a collar. Come around, leave a little bit in the back so that because that would be the collar on the suit coat. Okay. So now I've made my cuts where the suit coat, the edge of the suit coat, and now I'm going to take just a little bit, just a little sliver of wood out to bring out the edge of that suit coat. Here we go. Just gonna take out a little sliver. Now I'm going to follow the tie, edge of the tie. Going to follow that down. I'm going to take out that little piece of wood. Same thing over on this side. Follow that down. Take out that little piece of wood, a little sliver, just to bring out the tie. Okay. Now I'm going to go down the lapel. Go down a little towards the back. Okay, now what do I want to stand out? I want the lapel to stand out a little bit from the suit. So now I'm going to go to the outside and take off a little sliver of wood on the outside to make that lapel stand out. Same thing over here. And I'm going to take out that little sliver. so that the lapel will stand out a little bit from the suit coat. And I'm just going to rock this back and forth. Take a little slice of that off. Same thing over here. A little slice. Go around the collar. Just take little slices. And I want the collar to stand out. That's why I'm coming from this direction, from the outside to the collar. All right. Got our tie, and we've got our lapel. Now, on lapels, you have, where's my pencil, a little bit of a notch, I guess I'll call it, for in search of a better word. It's just where, I think it's a little bit further above. So I'm going to take a little notch out of the suit jacket. Okay, now we got that. Now let's do the hands. Let's put the sleeve where it's supposed to be. Make sure they're even. All right, now I'm going to push. Just do a little push cut, come underneath, because I want the jacket to go over the hand. So I'm coming underneath. Coming underneath. Same thing over here. Push. Coming underneath. Rocking it. Coming underneath. Okay, so there we're bringing out the hands. Gonna just take a little bit more. Same thing over here. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is right about here, I'm just going to round over those hands. Now you can see that this one's squared off and this one's kind of rounded over. Going to round over right there. Okay. Now we're going to do the pant leg. And the pant leg, the cuff, the pant cuff is going to be right here. Pant cuff is going to be right here. Now I want the shoe to go up underneath the pant cuff, so I'm going to rock this back and forth just a little bit. And then I'm just going to come from this direction of the shoe and go underneath, or I'm going to go to the pant cuff. That will make the pant cuff come over the shoe, which is how it naturally happens. Same thing on this side here. Okay, so now we've got our pant cuff and it goes over the shoe. Now we're going to angle the pant cuff up to underneath the hand. So I'm going to put my knife just a little bit above the pant cuff, and I'm going to move it up. You can do this on a few cuts. You don't have to do it all in one cut like I do. I just might look like I'm putting a lot of pressure, but I'm keeping the blade under control. Same thing over here. I'm going to angle my knife, come right above that cuff. This is nice wood. I'm really impressed by the wood. Okay, so there you can see the angle of the pant legs, and okay, I'm going to flatten this out just a little bit more. I want to keep a little bit of a belly here. It just makes it look a little more natural, but I'm going to just kind of blend that to right underneath right to the shoes. Okay. All right. Now my belt right here is a little bit slanted, so I'm gonna bring that up just a little bit. And now I'm going to rock my blade. Now I don't want to take off any of the tip of his tie, so I'm actually going to follow the line of that tie and come down and take off a little bit of wood right there. And take off a little bit of wood right there where his tie is at, and then we're going to, like I did the other side, make that more distinctive where the line of that tie is. Same as over here. Just going to take out a little bit because I want that I want that tie to be above the plane, so I can give it a little dimension. Okay, so there's our tie. Now I'm going to bring out the bottom of the belt. Just rock it back and forth. Come underneath. Come underneath. Forgot to bring my microphone, so hopefully that'll give me a little bit better sound. Okay, I'm gonna round that in. Round that in. Okay. Now I'm gonna separate the legs here. Put in my little the little notch. Take out that little piece of wood over here. Take out that little piece of wood. Now make my line. Take my knife. The point, go straight down. Almost to the shoes. I'm going to take a little V cut out from between those legs and take that little piece of wood out. Okay, Now what I like to do to separate my shoes, and I've done this before, is I like to make a little bit of a V cut right here between the shoes. And what it does is it keeps me from trying to go in between the feet and popping off one of the feet. So this way here, I take the pressure, or I find a place for the pressure to go, and that's in this little notch. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to go down here. And I'm going to go, well, that little piece of wood just came right out, just like it was supposed to. Okay, so now I can take my knife and just go in barely a little bit, just go in a little bit, and then take a little bit of the notch out. I don't want to go too deep, because again, I don't want to put too much pressure on each side of the shoe or the feet. And now I can go deeper. Then I can look at it, make sure that my shoes are equal. And they are. So now I'm going to start working on the back. So what I want to do pretty much is just round off my arms. Just round off my arms. Just get rid of saw marks right now. Okay, I felt myself going deeper into the wood, which means that I'm going against the grain. And I don't want to do that. You have to be really careful. You'll pop out a piece of wood. I know the grain goes this way. So I'm going to go up underneath the hand. Okay. Just round that off a little. Now I know that suit coat is going to go right underneath the hands. It gives me so I'm going to just rock that, and I want the pants to go up underneath the suit coat. So I'm going to go underneath and go up almost to that, again, to the stop cut, rock it back and forth to be able to take out that piece of wood just below. I want to even that up, make sure that my hands are even. And now what I want to do is to separate the arms, bring them down a little bit. Don't need to do a lot. Come down just a sliver. Just take out a sliver. See them over here? I'm going to take out just a sliver, just to separate those that arm. So now after I do that, now I'm going to take the sleeve of the coat and extend that over to here, rock that back and forth, come underneath so that the hands actually go underneath. so the hands go underneath the suit coat. Okay. Now I need to separate the legs in the back. So I'm just going to make a long line. Take a V-cut, just a little small V-cut. Take out that piece of wood. If I want to go a little deeper into the wood, separate that just a little bit more. Okay, so I've done that. I'm just gonna round that off. There we go. Okay. All right, so what are we going to do now? So what we're going to do now is that I want to now concentrate on the shoes. So I want that to be round, so I'm just going to take this corner off and take this corner off. I want a little bit of a distinguishing line right here, so I'm just going to go take out a little bit of that wood, just so it looks like that the pants leg comes down, rests on the shoes. Now I'm going to round off these shoes, so I'm just going to round that off. Round this off. I'm going to round this off a little bit right there. Just take out that edge on the pants leg. Looks like I got a little piece of wood that's caught up in there between the legs, so I want to get that. Okay. All right, now to give the suit a little bit of well, before we do that, let's put in the fingers. So this is something I've never seen anybody else do. So what I do is that I just take a line and put it down the front of the hand, because that will give me a finger that curves around, and it will also give me a thumb. So all I have to do is just take my knife, or take my V-tool, just go right down into that. There we go. That gives me, move my just a little bit over, just a little bit, and hopefully you can see that right there. Got a bit of a glare. All right. Bring this down a little bit. So now I'm going to make my fingers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 lines. 1 equal 2, 3. That'll give me 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers and my thumb. And then take my V-tool, separate my fingers. Do the same thing over here. 2, 3. Separate my fingers. Okay. So it gives me a thumb, 4 fingers. And also what I like to do, just to put a little bit of texture and a little bit of movement into my my clothes. I'm going to put right where the elbow bends. I put a little bit of a V. Again, it puts a little bit of movement into the arm. Doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously, creases are not perfect. Okay. Looks like I need to take a little bit of piece of wood off right there. Okay. Now, we do the same thing with what I do for the legs. I don't put a V crease, but I just put two on this side and one on this side. So I just take my knife, put a little bit of a texture, a little bit of a crease in the pants just to get a little bit of movement. There we go. Same thing on the back here. 2, 1. Okay. Here we go. Put a little bit of, take that edge off right there. All right, now on the shoe, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and draw a line. This would separate the sole of the shoe from the shoe. So I'm going to bring this around. Then I'm going to take my knife, just going to rock it back and forth, just to slightly take out a little bit of wood all the way around. Here I'm going to just take out a little tiny bit of wood. All the way around. Okay. Same thing here. And this is to make my sole separated from the shoe. Okay, so there's the sole. If you can see that, sole is separated